When did you start to feel something wasn't right? You, quote, crashed and were very hard to wake up. And then when you did wake up, you had flashing vision and slurred speech.
I just went good, bro. I did for at least 3 hours.
How scared were you?
Everything is good. You know, I take a little bit damage in there in the fight. We celebrate, we win. I go to sleep that night. I don't wake up the next day. You know, that hit me tough. It's crazy to think you can be here one day and then be gone the next.
Speculation started to conspire that Max was suffering a concussion from all the brutal headshots he had taken over the course of his violent career, or that it was a result of him having to go through the fastest and largest weight cut he had ever performed, causing his body to slowly shut down, even though after multiple tests, his kidneys were functioning as normal, and there were no signs of him having suffered a concussion on his brain scans.
That's why it's so confusing, you know. It'd be easier to move forward if we knew what happened, you know. We're all struggling with it right now.
Was it possible that whatever it was, we would never end up seeing the same Max Holloway again?
Is Max the coolest fighter in UFC history?
I am the Heat, brother. 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 You're about to see, brother. I am the Heat. I am the Heat, brother.
Max Holloway is scheduled to fight Justin Lawrence at UFC 150. After arriving in Colorado a few days before the event, Max's travel plans fell through, leaving him unable to get to and from the gym, inhibiting his ability to train. In the midst of the nerves and uncertainty, an unlikely friendship forms.
Everything that we got set up with fell out. Gaethje actually for a couple of days, took us, drove us around when we needed to go to certain places, to our hotel, to the gym. He was a cool dude, bro. That was before he was in the PFL. He just was telling us that he wanted to be a pro.
Neither would yet know that in a few years, Justin Gaethje would also join the UFC to become one of the most violent fighters on the roster, deservedly earning the highlight as his nickname.
I was there ringside when he made his debut. The main event against Michael Johnson.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. He come through he always come through. This guy's like a zombie too, and he got the finish.
But perhaps more violent was Wai'anae, a small region in Hawaii where Max Holloway was raised 10 years prior.
A memorial is growing at the Wai'anae small boat harbor to remember the lives of two men who police say were killed on Saturday. After numerous high-profile shootings, the community is saying enough is enough.
Put it down! Put it down! What the you machete down? You get shot!
This is the house where I grew up.
You ever scrapped on this corner?
We fight all on this road right here.
I saw some stuff that you're not supposed to see, like my mom fighting with her siblings and stuff over in front of us. To me, this is normal.
I remember my uncle coming into the bathroom and my mom was showering me and my brother and just fighting with my mom. They're fighting, fist fighting. Ice was crazy in Hawaii. And
Ice is meth, right?
Yeah, meth.
Ironically, beautiful Hawaii, Sunday Paradise, has earned itself the dubious title, the ice capital of America.
Numbers indicate a continual rise in meth use in Hawaii, and the state consistently ranks among the highest in meth abuse in the nation.
Drug-related deaths in Honolulu hit a 5-year high last year.
You think about it, it can be that first time that they use, they get addicted.
You want more, and after that you lose control, you start hitting the walls, start hurting people that you really love, like your mother, like your father. You can kill that person.
A local student tried for attempted murder after allegedly shooting his teacher. The student's reported defense: he was high on ice.
The teacher didn't deserve what happened.
Growing up, I didn't have a father.
The last time I saw my dad was when I was 10, 11 years old, and then I never see him after that. I still pray for him, but he has no use in my life anymore.
My mom was always there, but she wasn't, she was into drugs and stuff.
Why didn't you go down the path of drugs and, I'm sure it was very easy for you to.
Yeah.
I'm sure it could have been.
I saw what drugs did to my mom. I know drugs is a key opponent of why my dad wasn't around. I see drugs, what they do to some of my close friends' families.
I would notice my mom would be gone for days, 3 days, gone. A week, gone. 2 days, come back. And I always think during those days, is she alive? At the end of the day, drugs affect me a lot, but I always told myself there's no way. That's one thing I love about my mom. Even when she was going through her stuff, she made sure that we was all right.
She put our lives in front of hers and gave us to our grandma.
I remember I was telling my grandma, oh, I want to be a professional baseball player. That's what I want to be. And my grandma told me, oh yeah, how you gonna be that? I can't put you in college, you need a scholarship. So I started looking in school, like, oh man, that means I gotta get good grades from 9th grade, you know? So we started doing that.
Everybody is like, you're from Wai'anae, you're gonna be a loser. You cannot feed into the negativity.
Fast forward 2 years, 10th grade, I meet this guy named Josh Keanu. This tall, goofy kid. Had this mohawk, this blue mohawk that was like 2 feet tall.
Nice cut, bro.
I didn't even know how to fight, and I used to think, like, oh, I'll just probably beat this kid up. 10th grade came. I found fighting. Baseball season just done. I went to train with him. We did kickboxing. He gave me the ass whooping of my life. I trained for 3 days, and then my friend was fighting on Saturday. He's like, oh, Max, someone dropped out. You want to fight? On Saturday? You got to weigh 135. I was like, bet. This is how crazy my mom was, because I wasn't 18. I was only 16, so I had to get approval from her. She had to, like, tell the coach that I could do it. My mom asked me, are you ready? I was like, I don't know. I don't know, but I want to fight. And she's like, okay, just don't get hurt. That's how crazy my mom is. You know what I mean? That's my mother.
Already marked as a bad parent to the point it doesn't matter. I like them be better.
I ended up winning the fight. I don't know how, but I ended up doing it.
At first, I thought that was no way in hell he's gonna be able to fight.
And this is when K1 was like hot. Like K1 is this kickboxing show that was in Japan. I remember going to school the next day and just telling everybody, I'm gonna be a K1 kickboxer.
I remember fighting every week. One weekend I fought Friday and Saturday. And then 2 years later, that's when BJ Penn was the BJ Penn era in the UFC. Yeah. BJ was fighting George. BJ went on that 55 streak. And then I saw how much he made after one of his fights. It was like 30K. I was like, this is done. I was telling everybody when I was graduating, I was like, I'm gonna be a UFC fighter, 100%. My older brother, he just came back from college. He's like, oh, you graduating? What are you gonna do? And I told him, oh, I'm gonna be a UFC fighter. And I remember the laugh that he gave me, which was ridiculous. Like it's in my mind to today. And then he told me, yeah, I think you should start looking into other things. And I was like, okay. I just put my head down and tried to figure out a way to make it in fighting.
Nothing else mattered to me in my life at that time than being the toughest and most skilled martial artist on the planet.
I fight for Wai'anae, like trying to show people that you're not a bad kid. Like fighting in the ring is more better than on the streets.
To me, it's good, but just make sure you have respect for your team and for your opponents.
You know how much parties and whatever, when I was like a young kid, I had to like skip out on, you know what I mean? I was like, bro, I'm good, I'm training tomorrow, I gotta wake up early. My first 4 pro MMA fights, I was known as Little Evil. I remember after one of these fights in Hawaii, I was on Maui, and a fan, like that's a random guy, I don't know who it was. He just walked up to me and, hey, can I talk to you real quick? You believe in God and stuff, right? I was like, yeah, I go to church or whatever and this and that. And he's like, then why is your name Little Evil? And he left. And I was like, what the hell? I went training like the next day and I was talking to my coach, and my coach at the time, my old coach, and I just told him, bruh, I can't be Little Evil. And he's like, you know what? I'll think about it. 1 week went later, I came back training. The only word that keeps popping on my mind is bless. And I was like, I take it. He's like, you take what? I was like, I take the name Bless. And he's like, well, I guess it's a nickname now. When I'm outside the cage, yeah, I'm Max Holloway, this and that. But when I'm in there, I'm blessed. You know what I mean? Like you got 2 different identities for a reason. Yeah, you guys see the nice side, the Max Holloway, the cool side. But when we get in there, it's business. 3 years later, January 4th, I was at the hospital. I was waiting on the arrival of my son. 10:03 a.m. My phone rang and be like, hey, check your email. And it's a UFC contract. First person I call, my older brother. He's my nephew here. I got no. And he's like, then what? I just want you to be the first one to know that you're talking to a UFC fighter now. And then he's like, go ahead, you can tell me. I go, tell you what? And he's like, tell me I told you so. I was like, nah, I just wanted to let you know. He's like, I'll call you when my son's here. And I hung up the phone. And then at like 3:03 p.m., he was born. So. No way. January 4th was one of the best days of my life. I signed my contract when I was 19 years old. They called me out. They were like, oh, you want to make a UFC debut? There's 2 guys. I was like, okay, what are the 2 guys? It's like, okay, one's a black belt and one's a striker. We are fighting the striker. You're talking to me about black belt.
Who was the striker?
I had no idea who Dustin Poirier was at the time. When we was in the back, I remember watching, and just seeing and just being like, oh man, like not that much people. So I was thinking like, okay, this is like another fight for me, you know, not too much people in the crowd, we'll be right, we'll be fine. Nope, everybody shows up right before the pay-per-view card. So we walked out. I remember Bruce Buffer, you know, watching the fights, you know, you imagine this guy, you know, you daydream of this guy, you dream of this guy saying your name. I actually felt weak in the knees. I thought I was gonna faint. I was like, oh my gosh, I was telling my Max, you're on national TV, bro. You can't be fainting on TV right now. I ended up losing it. I ended up getting tapped out in the first round. It was a turning point for me, and it was great, you know. A loss is only a loss if you don't learn, and I learned.
Despite an unsuccessful debut, Max wasn't about to let it get in the way of his dream he had worked so hard for.
When I did my debut, we didn't have no striking coach. The striking coach was video games.
You learned how to f***ing strike from video games.
I was playing the UFC video games. I would try stuff that looked cool, and I'm like, oh yeah, let's try this.
Max just seems to look better and better, and he's so young in the sport.
Max Holloway, who defeated Justin Lawrence tonight. And Max, congratulations on a fantastic performance. Would you say that was your best thus far in the UFC?
Best by far.
20 years old, the youngest fighter in the UFC. How are you so confident and calm inside the octagon there? How's this not getting to you?
Hi, Max Holloway. I'm here to kill you. What's up, bro?
Max would cross paths with a young Conor McGregor, before McGregor had really become McGregor.
There's two things I really like to do, and that's whoop ass and look good, and I'm doing one of them right now. On Saturday night, I'm gonna do the other.
The Conor loss, he was like, yeah, we gotta get this shit going, you know. My coach did, Rylan. Rylan was like, man, I'm gonna pull somebody in. He brought in my striking coach, and
he lives on the island as well?
Yeah, he lives on the island. We all in one gym now. We're all together.
What made a giant difference, obviously?
Humongous difference. August 23rd in Canada, I'll be fighting the main event. That's my first main event with the UFC. 5 minutes round against a dangerous opponent named Charles Oliveira.
They may not be household names yet, but these two are going to put on such a great fight. Two very, very exciting fighters.
I can't believe you have 12 fights in the UFC. I feel like you debuted yesterday. That's unbelievable. 12 fights, and you're 23 years old.
Send your prayers to Charles, you know. It's a part of the game, and it's kind of sad to see that happen, you know. This is how we make a living. I got to thank this man behind me. My coaches, Rylan Lazarus, Darren Yap, Charles Keepy Lee, and Ivan Flores.
There's always somebody else, you know. There's always somebody else that's going to annihilate me, you know. I fought the fight of my life, and, you know, people's not happy with that, I guess.
Ricardo is going to be the guy, like, expose my wrestling and expose my striking and blah 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 and do this and do that and take me down.
It's never good enough for people, you know. They're always trying to look for the next and better thing, you know. They're like, okay, he got past Cub, whatever, that was a fluke, but he's gonna lose to this guy. That's what a lot of guys are doing to me right now. So it's just funny, you know. It's funny to see.
What a bunch of a-holes, huh?
Max Holloway will fight Anthony Pettis for the interim featherweight title.
Official weight 148. Anthony Pettis has missed weight by 3 pounds. Official weight 145 for Mr. Holloway. If Max Holloway wins this fight, he wins the interim title. But if you win the fight, you do not win the title. What does that mean to you?
Here for interim belts. I was for that real belt. I missed weight. Shit happens. Tomorrow night, business as usual.
Give us your thoughts on this opportunity tomorrow night.
It is what it is. Tune in tomorrow night and see a star be born, baby. Thank you, Canada. I love you guys.
Max Holloway, ladies and gentlemen.
This is just the surface, though. It's just the beginning, you know. It's I'm up there with the all-time greats, 10 consecutive wins. You know, I'm with names like Anderson and George St. Pierre. And
this is just my ticket to Jose Waldo. I'll be waiting. Let's get the real one. Let's go, Canada. I love you, Hawaii. Let's do the damn thing.
The greatest featherweight
in the history of the sport, Jose Aldo Jr.
I told these guys before, I'm gonna tell them again, I ain't average. I never ever wanted to be average. If you want to be average in anything you do, then you just can't by. I never ever wanted to get by in my life. I always wanted to be the standout in whatever I did. Everybody keep overlooking me to keep sleeping. I've been getting ready for Aldo since I was 17 years old. 17, I'm 25, and I'm here. He's still one of the best, he's still at the top of the division. But it's time for a new era. Aldo, get your mind right, because I don't want no excuses after a fight. I want the best damn Aldo. Just make sure you make that walk June 3rd, UFC 212, in your hometown. In your hometown. It was so hard fighting this guy. We had to fight him in his hometown. That's what kings do. Kings go to the other king's village, and they dethrone them, and they take everything that they got.
Max Holloway, ele vem numa crescente, vamos falar assim, mas ele nunca lutou com tanta pessoas cadenciadas, né? Eu vou finalizar ou vou nocautear ele?
No, you need to check yourself. I ain't playing. I'm here to stay. I'm gonna be here for a long time. I plan on being at the top, and come get me.
We did an open workout in this mall, and the mall was 3 levels. It was in an elevator on the 3rd level, it was coming down. It was a see-through elevator. And I could see outside where the stage was, packed. And I remember going out there, and the chant in Portuguese, "You're gonna die." And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting it. Like, I'm getting this chant. Like, this is, and all the other UFC fighters, this is what you live for. You know what I mean? You want to hear this, because people be talking about it all the time.
Nobody wanted to fight him in real. Everybody's like, this crowd and blah, blah, blah. I felt the crowd out there. I love the energy. You know, you gotta live in the moment.
O Aldo é muito querido pelo povo, né? Como que ele é campeão do povo.
Expectativas é melhor, né? Graças a Deus a gente sempre bem recebido, carinho dos fãs, então a gente já contava com isso aí, a gente sabe que a arena vai estar lotada.
I look into Josie's eyes, I saw a killer. I saw a man that I've been watching for 16 years. One of the greatest of all times. I'm fighting, he's my superhero, you know, like, he's my idol.
What can you say about this guy? 12 wins in a row, now he's the only guy to ever beat Aldo twice. I mean, it's pretty incredible.
I don't ever want to be given respect. I want to earn your respect, and I think I earned it here in Brazil.
Surprise, surprise, surprise. King Max is here, guys.
Max Holloway looked so dominant, no one was safe. Not even heavyweights.
He was doing the broadcasting, a big husky guy. He go by the name Daniel Cormier. He's eating everything I work for.
Yep.
You know who the money fight is, DC. The real money fight, it's me. Bring it on, Kung Fu Panda. I got you, DC.
Tony Ferguson versus Khabib, a cursed fight that would get cancelled a total of 5 times, was meant to take place at UFC 223.
Do you have an insurance policy in place if one of these guys can't make the fight?
You got a 45 champion, I would gladly take that spot after March 3rd. If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And the best is blessed, baby. Come see me.
Unfortunately, this is not an April Fool's joke. Tony Ferguson has pulled out of the fight. He's injured. He hurt his knee.
But the beautiful thing about this sport, the stud 145-pound champion Max Holloway.
He hasn't lost a fight in 5 years. Hasn't been taken down in 4 years. Has the most finishes in the 145-pound division. And he's a fucking stud. Said yes. And comes in and fights Khabib on 1 week's notice. That makes him the man. When this fight is over, champion. One of these guys will be the champion. Period.
I was just hanging out with my son. We was skateboarding. He played teasball, so I was practicing baseball with him. And then all of a sudden I get a call. 27 hours later, I'm here in Brooklyn. So it's pretty crazy. You know, the hardest thing was it was on April Fool's. Everybody didn't believe me. I had to keep telling them for like 5 minutes, this is not a joke.
Lockhart then took me on for the fight.
One of the best nutritionists, dietitians, weight cutting coaches in all of mixed martial arts, the one and only George Lockhart.
And then he did a freaking interview
talking about how this is the biggest cut we're ever gonna do in a short amount of time, blah blah blah. And then the first thing that happens when I land, meeting with not even a UFC doctor, a doctor from New York Commission.
Oh Jesus!
And then they tell me every single day they're gonna check up on us.
I'm just finished my 9-week hard training for 5-round fights. You didn't train.
Hey, so you guys just heard it here first. After all the excuses, there will be no excuses.
You fight for money, I fight for legacy. It's different.
How am I fighting for money? How am I fighting for money? I'm fighting a contract fight against this guy.
Hey, he fight for money.
This
he
is
fight
legacy.
100%.
This is the best man. He's the best man. Everybody's saying this is the best fighter in the world. How is this not a legacy fight?
No.
How are you not a legacy fight?
No, listen.
You're the best man in the world, brother.
You believe you can beat me?
Yeah, go ahead.
You believe?
I believe what?
You believe you can beat me?
Yes! I wouldn't be sitting here if I didn't. Who's in the right mind going to a fight that think they're gonna lose?
Because he gotta make good money. You're gonna make good
Everybody
money.
I would have made good money defending this title. I would have waited a couple months. This is a legacy fight. How much times, media, how much times did I say I wanted to fight Khabib? Because everybody talk about he being the best guy.
No.
If you want to be the best, you gotta beat the best.
We talk about
the
the
best, baby.
If you wanna fight with me, he need like, I don't understand, maybe 25 more New Years for training. Becomes new guy, wrestling guy.
We're about to find out.
He's surrounded. He's too.
I want you to fight you, buddy. Thank you for taking this fight.
I'm like 4 pounds away from making the weight, and I'm gonna it's tough, but I'm gonna get there. Like I know I'm gonna get there, you know. And then they come in and they check, and we have like hours left before the weigh-ins to yet, you know what I mean? They come in, they check, they looked at me, and they said, "You don't look good. You can't do it." That's all that happened, and I walked out.
That's so ridiculous.
I wasn't fighting.
That's
I was
so
like,
ridiculous.
"What you mean?" It's like, you look skinny. I was like, I mean, I'm coming down, losing weight. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna not look like how when I first met you on fucking Monday. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't catch a break, bro. It was just one after another, and I just felt like I couldn't catch a break. And I was like thinking, like, why me?
A joint decision was made between the State Athletic Commission and the UFC. We deemed Mr. Holloway medically unfit to attend the scales.
He was getting ready for a fight, that fight fell out. Then he was getting ready for another fight, and he didn't make weight, and couldn't make the weight. And then the list goes on and on, 3 or 4 fights, I can't remember.
I believe the guy's a true fighter. No way he backed out because he didn't have to. He absolutely had to back out, no doubt. If they pulled the plug, it's because there was no other choice.
That after the workouts on Wednesday, you, quote, crashed and were very hard to wake up. And then when you did wake up, you had flashing vision and slurred speech. Do you remember any of that? And if you do, how scared were you?
Say I go, I make the walk. Everything is good. You know, I take a little bit damage in there in the fight. We celebrate, we win. I go to sleep that night. I don't wake up the next day. You know, that hit me tough when they told me that, and it's crazy. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy to think you can be here one day and then be gone the next. I got conned by the UFC and my team to go to the ER. I was told that they had a van waiting for me downstairs that was going to do more media, and we ended up in the ER.
Wow.
And the doctors, you know, and you know, we did tests. We run a bunch of tests, and I see a lot of stuff they talked about in the media, you know, weight cut or stroke or whatever, and they're just being cautious with me right now. So
we heard that he was water loading, which is super dangerous. There's such thing as water poisoning, and you can actually drink too much water and die from it. There are a lot of theories out there right now. We don't really know what's wrong with them, but we're going to find out.
But to see Conor McGregor send you a message, to see Khabib Nurmagomedov send you a message, to see Michael Bisping send you a message, so many fighters sending you messages that seem to be very heartfelt and very genuine, very authentic. Even Jose Aldo in the cage, after his big win, sending you a message, sending you good thoughts.
I feel like this is one of the biggest fights in the UFC featherweight division since Conor and Aldo.
Everybody keep talking about Brian and this and that. Everything the guy did, I did better. He's on what, 6-fight win streak? I got 12. He beat a champion, I beat 2. And I beat one of them twice. You know, so at the end of the day, the Bless Express is going around in a circle. We laugh at you, bro. You know, and little brother, and I'm younger than you, so you know, congratulations.
Do you have a response?
Sometimes the best response is no response.
Sometimes you don't have a response, so.
Brian Ortega, after he fought Max Holloway, he goes into that fight looking unbeatable and gets just touched up. You know, Max Holloway just touched him up.
There was people doubting you coming into this fight. You were the betting underdog. Did that bother you?
Not at all. My fans got rich. You're welcome, my friend. Blessed era, 10 Island, baby. What's up?
Dustin Poirier versus Max Holloway 2
in Atlanta on April 13th for the lightweight interim title. They fought back in 2012.
Poirier submitted Holloway with a triangle armbar.
Hey, your dad's a champion, brother. All right, Rush?
I'm fine.
Your dad's fine. He's good. Thank you, Dr. Gandalf. Thank you. Thank you. Great fight. You can take it, man. Thank you, brother. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. I like what you're doing. Hey, Dustin's the real champ outside the octagon. My brother's better than that. People was giving me a hard time about a kid shouldn't be there front. Like, that's no place for a kid his age and blah, so on and so on. But I'm like, it's all his kid, though. Like, he's been in the gym. He's been in the gym with me when we didn't have babysitters. Like, this is what he grew up watching. I didn't have babysitter money, you know what I mean? I brought him to the gym. All he knows is fighting. Dude can sleep anywhere. He's sleeping. This is cage side, guys. Yeah, a lot of people talking to me like it's my funeral or something. I'm like, guys, I'm okay. I'm gonna be back. To 90% of the world thinks I won.
I thought that Max won. I think Max Holloway won the fight.
We got some bad judging. Anybody have for Volkanovski? Nobody in the media? Yeah, so I don't know. We'll have to figure it out.
Kauai became the first state to implement some of the strictest travel restrictions for anyone coming through our airports. That order could soon be extended to include travel within the islands.
There was people breaking protocols, and like there's like Hawaii famous people or famous people that was flying into Hawaii that was breaking the mandate of like going around or whatever, you know, the COVID protocols. And they was getting arrested. I was like, fuck, I can't be getting arrested before my fights. The stay-at-home order in Hawaii was pretty serious.
There's a crazy story about you training during the pandemic.
Do you have any training partners, or did you do it all solo via Zoom?
Solo.
No grappling, no pads.
No nothing. The first time seeing my coaches was meeting them at the airport for Vegas.
Watch this poetry in motion. I mean, this is finesse at its best.
And Max Holloway came over and he said, what did I tell you guys about Zoom?
Complete dismantling of one of the top fighters in the world by the former champion. Getting back in there for a title shot.
Max is in the Matrix.
Yeah.
There's moments in guys' careers where they reach this new place, you know, and that's what it looked like with you.
Because of the amazing performance he put on against Calvin Kattar, he was given a third chance to regain his title against Volkanovski. But once again, Volk would get the decision victory.
He loses better than anyone on the f***ing planet. Loses or wins. He just goes, hey, I'm just going to get better.
It is what it is. It's living. It's
I
life.
love that saying, though. It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's life.
After a series of losses in his recent fights, we began to see the side of Max we had gotten a glimpse of in the Kattar fight really start to come out, showing that even though Max is a veteran of the sport, he may still not have even hit his prime.
Suddenly something changes and something in your eyes is changing and you become blessed and you become like a different machine.
Max was on the scale. He was forced to take everything off because he needed every little bit of his weight. And this is when two people just held the towel, and Justin was going to weigh in next. Stood in front. No one even asked him to do it. He volunteered for this job.
Here's Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje emerging as a towel holder here.
Moves the towel, but in front of like the actual scale, so it's Max scale towel.
You can't hold the towel in front of the scale because we can't see the weight. It's like,
Hold him
oh, okay. So you want to go over?
You never know what to expect. Oh, and Gaethje now, not an official towel holder.
Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway, two of the all-time greats in their division for the BMF title.
The BMF is about trying to be a fighter's fighter.
Somebody that would fight when it was easier to stay home, and somebody that would get up when it was easier to stay down.
I met Justin before he was in the UFC. I fought Justin Lawrence in Denver, and this man knew that we didn't have a drive around or a car to get around. He drove us around, bro. Anytime we need somebody, he'd pick us up. So this man's a legend, man.
We're gonna try to f each other up, and we're gonna respect each other after.
We're gonna go in there, hurt each other, and get a drink after.
And I know that he's gonna try to take my head off, and I would lose all respect if that wasn't the case.